Hi everybody who's coming here to watch this short video. In this short video I want to talk about the purpose of any kind of occult or esoteric work, what you might do. And I put this video up because I was thinking a lot. I'm teaching on my website people who use different type of esoteric science, and sometimes I do not let certain people in my class because, in my opinion, when you are a lover of occultism and spiritualism, you have to be conscient of the consequences of your work. Today there's so much knowledge out in the public about occultism, which is in a way good because people are not less and less afraid of it. But in the same time, it brings a danger in that some people who has no really power use certain rituals, certain ceremonies that could be potentially harmful for them and for others. And most of the time, these people are not conscient what are they doing. And it's cool when you watch a tarot channel. It's cool when you say, oh, I am an alchemist, I am a witch, I am a starseed, I am a earth angel, I am a lightworker, or whatever. People, yeah, the other one, hey, okay, yeah, that is really fashionable. Everybody's hey, okay. Oh, the chosen one, that is the other one. Anyway, you need to understand that these are titles that it's not you who contribute to yourself, okay? The second, if you have any idea what is this title is coming with, what responsibility, and what you have to go through to get this title, you won't tell everybody on YouTube and with a big voice that you are so powerful, okay? Because even if you do at the beginning of your destiny, you will learn little by little that this is not an easy life. This is not an easy way. Sometimes people can see results and say, oh, it's cool, so let's do it. But they do not know exactly what work is behind it when really, for example, a real shaman is not just somebody who takes a 10 months of course and after call himself a healer or a shaman. A real shaman learns for many, many, many years. A real shaman is recognized by the spirit world and chosen by the spirit. The real shamans has ancestors behind. It's we can say about this about witches and many spiritual workers, okay? I don't want to put down the other people, but when, honey, you find something ritual on Pinterest and after a weekend, you light your candle and do whatever you want, and after you fuck up your life, at first you fuck up other people's life, and the consequences, the karma will hit you, and you get upset, you don't understand what's going on. People need to understand this is things we can't play with. These are serious stuff. Some people learn it for many, many years to understand the consequences of their act, what it might could cause. And sometimes it's not like that, or you hate someone and you do a death spell on that person, or you will ruin their life, you have to have a wisdom to see what do you create, what kind of energy you create, and what's going to happen with this energy when you release it. Because energy don't disappear without consequences. You should know that if you are in spirituality, and everybody knows that what you send out, that will come back. But there are some clever people who think they have protection, they can protect themselves. And even if you can, you have no idea consequences that's happening even in your own soul. Because it's not just as energy what you send out, but the intention you send it out with will work in your soul. The question, what intention did you send that energy out? Well, when I work with clients, sometimes people coming to me and really desperate, what do they do? Because they really fucked up their life. It's not a problem. All of us fuck up our life once, at least in a lifetime. So it's nothing to be shameful of that. But most of the time it's because they're playing with spiritual stuff and they have no deep understanding what are they doing. When you talk to someone and they say they are alchemists, and when you get deeper, and sometimes even they have the knowledge, but the question, do they have the wisdom? Because a true alchemist, for example, will know all the consequences of their act. And once I was discussing with a guru, and we were an Indian guru. I really like this guy. And we were talking about this, that some knowledge about the universe is so wonderful, but it can be dangerous if you, because most of the humanity is not ready to receive it, not ready to work with it, because the ego in their brain is so developed and overtaking that they would not be able to use it for good purposes. And that's why many knowledge from the universe is held back from humans, because we need to transform, we need to change. And this guru said that when we meditate and raise the vibration of the earth, when we reunite in spirit and become one, that's when the ego starts, some people say dying. Well, I would say that part of your brain start a bit becoming smaller, and in some cases it might even can cause certain mutations that will, in a gene, that could help that your brain, that part of the brain will be different, okay? And that would be normally the aim for a better world on this earth, because that is the only way that all this dark shit going on would disappear. But unfortunately, we don't control anyone on this earth, and even if we would, that wouldn't be good, because controlling others is not a good thing. But what I wanted to talk about in this video, that people become more conscious about what do they do. When you light that candle, when you sit down, meditate, and start doing mind work on other people, when you, many type of practice and rituals, whatever you do, there is always, always a price to pay. There is always, always a consequences. You need to make sure that you have a wisdom to use these powers, to use these rituals, to use these energetic work you do. Because if you don't, you have to suffer really serious consequences of your act in the future. And some people are laughing on that, they don't believe. Some people find it funny that it's Halloween and they do some witchcraft shit they found on Pinterest. And after when horrible things happen in their life, they do not understand why. I have a Taurus reading channel, so there sometimes I'm teaching also. But when I talk about this, people get really fucking angry with me. So they want to kill me, burn me. I got so many messages. But just take witchcraft. Okay, I'm not going to other areas right now, but just witchcraft. So when you talk about witches, usually people, now it's a bit big and fashionable because on cinema we have, well, after Harry Potter we have so many films and stars coming from something that is about witches. So people start thinking about it not that negatively anymore. Now it's cool. So everyone wants to do witchcraft. So they find the rituals on internet and let's do it. Let's light that candle. And they don't take the time to purify themselves. They don't take the time to heal themselves. They don't take the time to develop a character inside them, a spiritual stamina also, to be able to be a good witch. And people gonna kill me for this, okay? Well, I don't care. No, nobody will kill me. I'm not saying that, but want to kill me, that is sure. No, I'm prepared for all shitty comments that can come, but I know a really good mage. Many people know, it's not just me, because he's quite famous. But you know, when you go when you take his course, he does give a witchcraft courses, and he's really good at it. Okay, so the first thing you learn how to use your power, magic power. And you learn about the witch's pyramid, you learn about so many things. And I'm telling you, before you start lighting that candle, you start doing shits like that, please at least take a normal course. And, well, at least with somebody good. Because if it's a really good course, they will explain that you have to work on yourself at first. So you have a pure intention, because you are responsible for every energy that you release from yourself. And it's not really the candle, it's not really the magic stick or magic wand, not really the object on your altar that will produce the magic or this energy. No, it's you. It's your energy. It's you that makes it alive on the spiritual realms. And it coming out of you. Not the candle, not that oil, anointing oil, and not that witchcraft stuff on your altar. Those are just objects. Look at the vibration. A candle what you use in a ritual has the same vibration than a candle that is just on a shelf in a shop, okay? It's not different. What will change the vibration is you, the energy that you infuse it with during your spiritual work, and the energy that will be sent out with it. That's when sometimes people start working as a witch, and when they grow in knowledge, they go on mental magic, and after mental magic, when they obtain so much knowledge and wisdom, many of them could become alchemists. But because they understand at the end that these rituals really are not necessary. You can do the same thing with your mental, but it's a process that people learn. And of course, when you do mentally a work, it requires much more energy than doing a ritual, because a ritual that helps you to focus on and just give you a frame that make it a bit easier. When you do everything mentally, you don't need equipment, you don't need candle, you don't need all this stuff, but you need to use more energy. But the problem is that when people do all these things without wisdom, without purifying themselves, without working on themselves, and when it's happening, they open themselves to negative forces that are totally out of their control. And the destruction that comes after, they can't handle it most of the time, because when you're a spiritual worker and you grow in your power, with your growing, you develop a kind of spiritual stamina. That's mean if later on you do something and you fuck yourself up, you have the knowledge, or at least you will search for the knowledge, and you have the spiritual stamina to fix the problem, okay? Because it does not work when you do spiritual work, that you fuck up a situation or your life and you just can't go and leave it there and do nothing about it, because it will go with you, okay? So that's why at the beginning I was happy that the knowledge is getting out in public, so people realize that what is being a witch, what is being a mage, what is being an alchemist, what is being a shaman. Excuse me. But the problem is that the message didn't get through properly. Maybe people are less afraid, but now they are, they want to do all these shits themselves, and they getting fucked up by it, you know? And the problem is that you don't purify yourself, you don't grow in this stamina, spiritual stamina, you don't know, or you don't grow in this knowledge. It will be difficult after fix all the shit what you did spiritually. Do you understand? And after, even people on a dark side, they have wisdom to not to touch certain things that a beginner or someone, well, some of us call them weekend witches, somebody who just pop up a spell from Pinterest or go to the bookshop and buy some occult book and now, oh, let's do it. And after I receive messages like, oh, please help me, I open a portal, I can't close it, and how did you open it, you know, and a portal that's really goes to a place that he can really fuck you up. And or I get messages like emergency that people don't know what the fuck is going on. Some of them finish even in a mental institute because they can't take the consequences that what they did spiritually. So what people need to understand, you can't play with spirituality. You can't play with spiritual works. You can't play with energy until you are not an alchemist. But to be an alchemist, honey, you have to spend, okay, it's not the time what is important, but usually it won't happen in 10 months or 5 months or 1 year. But you have to work on it for a long time. It's not the time that's importance, but the wisdom that you will accumulate. And a wisdom, in my opinion, in point of my view, is the knowledge that you put in practice in your personal life, so you gain experience. It's not the time what is important, but don't tell me that you can gain all this experience, all the wisdom and knowledge in 10 months, what an alchemist usually achieve in 5 or 10 years, because it's impossible. You might can do it in 2 or 3 years if you are really, really good, or you are really called to do it, or you are really called to be an alchemist and you have some, supernatural help. But I'm telling you again, it's not the time what is important. I'm talking about, first of all, you need to accumulate the knowledge. Second, you need to transform this knowledge into wisdom that does not work any other way than practicing it. Put it in practice in your own life. Okay? And when you have the wisdom, that means you learned. You learned the consequences of your act. You learned from your experiences. And with that learning, you change your own life. You learn how to change your own life. When you are not in control in your whole life, but you want to control other people's life, but are you serious there? What the fuck do you think will happen? A big, big shit chaos. You don't even need to do chaos magic for that. So, you need to be really responsible using occult sciences. Even if you are a shaman or a witch or whoever you are. You can't play around with deities. You can't play around with spiritual beings, because your ass will be busted. Whatever deity, spirit, or entities you're trying to work with, you need to understand they are not humans. They don't think like humans. They don't feel like humans. And you will never know, but never know, what consequences a contract, an agreement will bring. Some idiot people are really easily giving their blood or doing blood sacrifice or whatever, killing animals. I'm really against that, and I really hate that. But when people do that, because you don't have a right just to take a life on the earth. And if you do that, it's usually some shaman. I had my adopted shaman father, when they ate meat, they always thank to the spirit of the animal that they can feed themselves. And for them, shedding blood was only for survival, to eating. Okay? Today there are food available all over the world. You can make wonderful vegetarian meals. You don't even need to kill an animal to satisfy yourself with food. But if you do, it's okay, okay? But when you do a spiritual work and you sacrifice an animal just for the blood to convoke a spirit, invoke or convoke, it's complicated. Anyway, to have an alliance with a spirit or an entity, and you think it's fun because you are in rage, you want to take revenge, and you have all kind of negative emotion that you are incapable to control, but you think you are so fucking powerful, and your emotion that is uncontrollable will do this spiritual work really with this negative energy put into it, and you have no idea what the fuck do you do. And after a year, 2 years, your life is fucked up, and you're calling me to fix it in 1 hour, well, I hope you are not serious, okay? You don't find any spiritual practitioner who can fix it in with one ritual. Yeah, this is the other one, when these people so desperate going to a higher rank spiritual practitioner, and they expect the spiritual practitioner to fix their life in an hour or in a day or 2 days. And top of that, they say, I pay you, but me, I don't want to do any work. Excuse me? And I'm totally done. So I think if there is some spiritual workers who's watching this video, listening to me, I'm sure they know what I'm talking about. So when you want a healing, when you want to get rid of an entity or whatever mess you did, you need to do a fucking work on yourself that a spiritual worker can't do for you. The spiritual worker can do the ritual, the ceremony. They can take control in the situation. That is really important. They can help you. But in the moment when the spiritual worker is gone, the ritual, the ceremony is finished, you go home, you continue your shitty energy, have what you did before, and you continue make the same mistake in spiritual work, what you just want to do because you are pissed off and want to take revenge. Honey, the work what the spiritual worker did was for nothing. Nothing at all. And why? Because you didn't change. Because you didn't do the work on yourself. You go to a spiritual worker for healing, or an energy worker, energy healer, to change your energy because there's some problem in your life. You go home, yeah, paid for the ritual, paid for this energy work. You're feeling good. You go home. Next day and a day after, you continue your same lifestyle, the same thinking. You change nothing. I guarantee you, it's not even a week or two, you will be in the same state. And after you call back the spiritual worker that it didn't work. No, honey, it will never work. I don't care how much do you pay if you do not work on yourself. Okay? Sorry, guys. So, well, here I'm talking about when people are looking for deliverance from certain situations or healing. Certainly it's not when they pay for love spells or all kind of shit. Yeah, that's the other one. When you pay a dark spiritual worker to do a death spell on somebody or a love spell on somebody, don't get pissed off when it's fucking backfire on you. That is the best when I can see people like that. People think this stuff of these things are just to play around. It has no weight. It has no significance in their life. They're just fucking up other people's life. So, I'm not saying there is no way out when you fuck up your life like that. There is. But you have to be determined to do work on you. It does not work. You pay somebody and whoops, in a week or in a 2 or 1 hour, it's done. No. You shouldn't get involved in such a work at the beginning without obtaining the right wisdom. Because sometimes even when you obtain the knowledge is not enough. You have to have the wisdom to understand what's going on, what you do. Right. So please, you decide to be a shaman, you decide to be a witch, you decide to be a warlock, or you decide to be I don't know, whatever you want to be, alchemist. Just make sure, first of all, you will find the right mentors. at least take some course where you learn really what is it about, and after you need a mentor, and even after you finish the course, you don't become shaman straight away just because you know a few ceremonies. Are you kidding? Okay, sorry guys, it got cut. I need to call the two videos together. Anyway, I was saying that just a course because you do, I don't know, a course to become a witch, or a course to become a shaman or a healer or an energy healer, it's not enough. It's not enough. I remember when my adopted shaman father wanted that I become a shaman also. And the process is very complicated, okay? And it's different what type of shaman, because in North America they do it different way. In Nordic countries, or even in Africa, or in Asia, okay? They have different process to become a shaman, okay? So now I'm just talking about this one, just for example. I won't tell everything, but you have to be chosen by the spirit, as they say. What is about is like an spiritual power choose you to become a shaman, okay? After, you need to go through an initialization that, while different in every shaman culture, what does it mean? You have to prove yourself to be knowledgeable enough, to be brave enough, and to be able to communicate with the spirit world, to be able to be recognized in a spirit world as a practitioner. And you really, that's how your power comes out. And when you prove all that, this initiation is finished, you become a shaman, okay? Often, it starts before. When you're a shaman, usually you have a spirit name that is given by the shaman who brought you up, and a spirit animal that always accompany your shamanic practice. Well, the shaman I learned from, it was the habit, okay? It exists other shaman practices that might be different, okay? But there are everywhere a long process. You have to prove yourself. You have to go through tests. And it's not like you do a 10 months of course. You have a certificate, you are a shaman, and hey, let's go, let's do shamanic work on people. But are you serious? You don't even have any clue the consequences of the shit that you can fuck up people's life, and you make people even pay for it? Excuse me for being so not polite, but it does not work like that. I remember I went through an initialization, and even today I do not dare to call myself shaman. I do not dare to call myself shaman because I don't even approach my adopted father, who was a shaman, in knowledge, in power. Oh my God, I just don't dare to call myself shaman. Because to be a shaman, you need to have so much wisdom. You need to have so much power and so much responsibility when you take a person and you work and heal that person, deliver that person, or whatever work you need to do on that person. Because everything what you do on that person has consequences. It's not just like you you do a certain ritual, healing ritual, and wow, the person is healed. What's happening with the person's soul? Because when somebody heals from something, there will be an emptiness in that part of the soul. There will be an emptiness in that part of the soul when you heal somebody. My question is that after this person leave, what's happening? Because you didn't finish the work. You need to fill up this empty space with something. You have to seal the aura. So how do you do that? Many people who call themselves shaman doesn't even know that they need to do that. It's not that mushroom things that you drink or eat and get into trance makes you a shaman. Oh no, honey. Because I know shamans who never do such a thing. They can get into trance naturally with a dance or singing or with the drum. They don't need a mushroom. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Do not misunderstand. But what I'm saying, that be realistic. Just because you pick up certain things from shamanism and you say you are shaman because you use that one thing, that is a bullshit. I'm sorry for saying that, but that is a bullshit. Get that certificate. It's good you did that course. Find a mentor. Maybe not one, but many. Because sometimes one mentor can see the whole thing differently than the other one. And until you find your own path, maybe your path is not the same path than your mentor's path. You need to have many mentors to find your own path, to find your own style of spiritual work, the way you work. So are you serious you can do that in 10 months? No, you can't. Same apply for witches. Same apply for witches. Find a mentor, but not a mentor who does not even control their own life. No. You need to test the mentor also, that this is a good mentor, a good person to in a way follow, to learn from the way of the practice. Because if you learn from a wrong person, you are fucked up also, you know. It's the same thing. I had a woman who came to me for help, and her mother was a witch all of her life. So this woman grew up from birth practically breathing in witchcraft, okay? And her life was so much fucked up, just like the life of her mother. And she didn't know what's going on. And when we worked together, I explained to her that your mother accumulated so much generational curses on you that it's practically a miracle that you are still alive. Because her mother never ever learned, never ever had any mentor, just created something from a really bad intention that was not purified, a mother who never ever healed, never ever did any work on themselves, on herself, so she could become a good witch. So you can be a bad witch or a bad practitioner for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. It's not the time that is count. How good spiritual worker you are. It's not the time. In my opinion, you should not go to a spiritual worker to ask for a work until you are not spiritual yourself and you can't listen to your intuition. Because your intuition can lead you to the right person. Okay? It's really important. So when you are karmic and you know nothing about spirituality and just go to someone to order a death spell on your boss because your boss pissed you off, well, you will fuck up your life so much that you don't have any idea if this guy dies or this boss dies. People are not conscious. Not conscious about what they're doing. So it's a good thing that spirituality is in a public eye getting more recognized. I'm really glad for that. But what makes me afraid? That people do not understand or they have misconceptions about it. And that could lead to a total disaster in people's personal lives. It's not fun when you call an entity and you make a contract with this entity and you think that after you will be fucking rich and enjoy your life and you will be happy. You need to understand at first how entity is working, how deity is working. That everything has a price. It just not come like that. And when you say you have nothing to lose because your life is already fucked up, oh, believe me, honey. Believe me, when you say you have nothing to lose, oh, universe will teach you, oh yes, you have still much more to lose than what you think. When you're so desperate, you lost your husband, went off with other woman, and you think you have nothing to lose? Are you kidding? Just watch how much you can fuck up your life with spiritual work against your husband. Just watch. And after these kind of people are running to spiritual work and that help me, fix everything in an hour. Wow. I think there is a huge work to do that now that there's practically everything about occultism is out in public. It's not a secret anymore, which is good because people are not afraid of it that much, okay? But now there's a work needs to be done that people understand that no, not everyone can become a witch. No, not everyone can become an alchemist or a shaman, because it does not work like that. It's not because you are not good, it's because not everybody has the wisdom to do that. And it can be potentially very dangerous. If it's your destiny, you are called to be a shaman, you are called to be a witch, you are called to be a healer, you are called to be a light worker. Honey, your way will be blessed. And this type of people they will put lots of energy, of course, but it will come to them naturally. When you see a self-made witch doing a ritual, they're sweating practically blood because the energy they need to produce to do it and the effort is so much, and they're practically suffering making that ritual. Do you understand? Look at a witch who's called to be a witch. That is in her or his destiny. They will do it effortlessly, easily, but the other one makes so much effort. And guess what? The one who was not called to be a witch and practically suffering to produce the same energy than the other witch easily do, will be pissed off, will be jealous, will be revengeful, and guess what? They will merge into more and more into hate, in revenge, and all kind of negative energy that they didn't even learn to transmute or control. When you are a witch, you need to learn to handle your emotions. And it's not that you use hermetic philosophy to sweep under your mask and there you go, you are a witch or an alchemist or whatever. No. It does not work like that, honey. You learn to transmute your negative feelings, your negative emotions, the positive one. That's how you start to control it. And still, when you can do it, sometimes it can run away, huh? But that's how you learn from it. That's how you learn what is hateful. How do you transmute hate into what and how? How do you transmute revenge? How do you transmute sadness? How do you transmute pain? How do you transmute all kind of negative feelings into something constructive? That's, honey, when you start becoming an alchemist or a true witch. It's not that you are fucking pissed off somebody stole your husband. You are up in a plafond and you don't know how you would kill that woman. First of all, honey, if your husband could be stolen, that is not the woman's problem who stole it, huh? There was something wrong with your husband and maybe with yourself also. But for that, you need to sit down, meditate, start loving yourself, heal yourself, do a work on yourself that you can see the whole situation from a different perspective, because you will have totally different act and you will send out totally a different energy than when you are pissed off in a rage and you want to take revenge straight away. And for you, the justice that the girlfriend of your husband will die. And you get pissed off when the universe don't let that happen, hit you back, hit you hard, and then what? You get pissed off with universe and run in the arm of an entity who will fuck you up? Because thinking the entity will give you the power to take finally revenge? But you can't see the vicious circle you are in. And the key to break out of it is only you. And a key is to start working on yourself before you touch any fucking spiritual work. And people do not understand that. People do not want to do the work. They think they know better. They think shortcuts are better. And when they get fucked up, they do not understand. Start working on yourself. Your husband left you for another woman. It's tough. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not you who is the victim, because you are the victim. The question is that, will you sit there in victim mentality and fuck up your life more? Or you stand up, you become a survivor, you work on yourself, you raise, and you will become a queen, a fucking powerful queen. And I'm telling you, that is revenge. Not that you do whatever comes from your emotion that you can't control and you fuck up more your life. Are you kidding? Where is the queen attitude there? That is not revenge, honey. You just fuck yourself up. Build your life up. You want to be a witch? You want to be a spiritual worker? You want to be a shaman? You want to be an energy healer? You want to be a light worker? You want to be somebody special? Then do the work for it. But start it with yourself at first, so you could control your own emotion. You could clean up your soul. You could clean up your heart. You could develop a very good, deep, intimate relationship with universe, with source. Because if you have that, you can't go wrong. If you have that, you will release the right energy. Do you understand? That won't fuck you up. Even if you will make mistake in your practice, you will have the wisdom and a support to fix it or get out of it. But don't try to control other people's life when you are incapable to control your own, not even talking about your children. So when people start coming that they have, I don't know, leadership qualities, and after you can see, well, I'm not saying because that can be also other problem, but I'm telling you, it starts with your children. It starts with your family, your husband, your wife. I'm not saying to control your husband or wife, but your leadership qualities will come out there. Okay? If there is a divorce and you can't have effect on your children for some reason, I suggest you start working with children. Or start with working with people. Go out with homeless people. That will develop your leadership qualities. Do you understand? How do you deal with fragile people? And after you can move on a next level. But when we have spiritual teachers, spiritual leaders, who has no idea what they're talking about, who has no leadership qualities at all, for them being a leader is being famous, being worshipped by others, and using others. Well, that is called narcissism, spiritual narcissism. And later on, I will put up a video about this thing, to see people what does mean when somebody is a spiritual narcissistic person. Because there are many spiritual practitioners or leaders or teachers are spiritual narcissistic. I'm telling you, when you go in their home, in their secret life that is behind the mask, you will see who they are really. I really do respect leaders in every areas of life, not just spirituality, who can say, I made a mistake. A spiritual narcissist will never do that. Or maybe now he's hearing me, so he will make up some story. It is possible, but for a spiritual narcissist, it's really, really hard to say, I made a mistake. Because a spiritual narcissist will make himself or herself look like fucking perfect. And such a thing does not exist on earth. There is no human who is perfect. No human who is perfect. And they do not understand. Listen to me. There are deities. There are angels who are just like us. They make mistakes. Who the fuck do you think you are, that you are a little tiny human, and you think that you are perfect, or you make people think you are perfect? That is a big fucking lie. Nobody is perfect, not just on this earth, but in an entire fucking universe. People need to learn what is spirituality. People need to learn what does a spiritual work do in not just other people's life, but in yours, honey. Because everything has a price and everything has a consequences, and you need to develop a wisdom to understand this if you want to be a spiritual worker or want to do some spiritual work. Thank you for listening, guys. Well, my video finished here because it will be too long. I won't be able to stick them together. Anyway, Thank you for watching, and press a thumb up if you like my video and subscribe to my channel. Take care. Bye bye.